is your definition of anxiety, Dr. Kennedy?
Anxiety for me is anxious thoughts of the mind. Anxiety is not painful itself. What's painful is this sense of alarm that's in our body, that's in our system. And it's the alarm that drives the thoughts because it's a very atypical way, especially as a doctor and a neuroscientist, to look at anxiety as more as a body issue, like old
Mm,
unresolved wounding that just making sense through the mind, because the mind is this compulsive meaning making make sense machine. So when it feels the alarm in your body from the old wounds that haven't been resolved, it makes sense of it by worrying, warnings, what ifs, worst case scenarios, and that's what happens.
let me see if I can unpack that. So for you, you said anxious thoughts, like anxiety is sort of those spiral of thoughts,
Yeah.
but truly the genesis of it is unresolved trauma or issues from your childhood that is stored in the body?
Typically, yeah.
Okay. Where does anxiety come from?
It comes from that alarm in your body, because typically what happens with people with chronic anxiety is normal. You know, anxiety over taxes, anxiety over your kids, that's normal. But if it's every day, if it's relentless, like that kind of anxiety is abnormal. That typically comes from sort of unresolved stuff from your childhood. And it's stuck in your body and in your mind to some extent. It's a bit of a it's a tough call, because when you say anxiety is in your body, of course it's in your nervous system, which of course is your body and your mind. So it's really finding that place of unresolved wounding, that trauma that still sits in you, because that's the engine of what's driving your thoughts. So rather than thinking of anxiety as a thought-based process, it's actually a feeling-based process that's only kind of reflected by the mind. But we assume that it's the mind because we're so fixated on the mind in our society. So it's really a body-based issue, but we focus on the mind and we try and fix it through the mind. And that's why people are in therapy for 30 years and they're not getting a lot better.